I won't say underdog, but, somebody that's never been to a BCA bowl game really be knocking on the door, and that's exactly what the Broncos are doing. They are going to be, in my opinion, in a BCS bowl this January.
All right. For you, tell me just briefly your association with the Orange Bowl, how long you've been associated with the game as a committee guy. How long have you seen this happen?
Well, I've been with the Orange Bowl for 5 years. Prior to that, I was with the CarQuest Bowl, Blockbuster Bowl, Micron PC.
So you're a bowl pig. I mean, you're a bowl veteran.
Well, yes, but I'm also a volunteer. I'm not a paid person. We're all volunteers.
I didn't mean that personally, by the way, but what I mean by that is we're in a different era. Why would the Orange Bowl be in Boise, Idaho 5, 6, 7 years ago? Probably not even coming, are you?
No. We're here for the same reason that the Fiesta Bowl is here and that the Sugar Bowl is here. Mm-hmm. Relationships are vitally important today in the BCS world. And, for example, we met with your president today. We met with your athletic director. We met with the head of the commissioner of the WAC conference. We're trying to, all of the BCS bowls are trying to establish relationships, get to know the people, because teams like Boise are going to be players in the future, and we want to know them and we want them to know us. Mm-hmm. We can't guarantee anything this year or any time in the future at this point, but sometime, in my opinion, they'll be in our bowl game, and we want to know them, and they want to know us.
Joseph Millsaps, a member of the Orange Bowl committee here, our guest at the Paul's Market Halftime Report. Well, Joseph, describe the pecking order in terms of where the Orange Bowl is and how a Boise State could ultimately end up in your scenario if X, Y, or Z happened.
Okay, first of all, we have a contractual relationship with the Atlantic Coast Conference. Their champion will be our host team.
Okay, could be Boston College if things stop today.
It could be Clemson. It could be Georgia Tech. It could be a number of teams. There's a lot of football, as you know, to be played in November.
Right.
And a lot of things are going to happen, no question about it. But after we get our conference champion, assuming they don't go to the national championship game, which doesn't look like that'll be happening, but we'll have our conference champion from the ACC. Then we have to wait until the Rose Bowl. If they lose one of their team, Big Ten team, for example, to the national championship game, then they'll get a first pick.
Okay.
Then the Sugar Bowl will get the second pick. And then we will get the third pick. And then the Fiesta Bowl will get the fourth pick. But the key to Boise State is that they have to finish at least 12 or higher in the final BCS poll to get an automatic bid. That could very well happen because some of these teams, while they're excellent teams, some of them are going to lose in November because of the matchups that are happening.
So what would give you incentive to take Boise State over Notre Dame? That probably wasn't even fair because everybody almost wants Notre Dame, but perhaps some other schools out there. What would be in their favor? Because they've never been to this bowl. You don't know how many people they travel or how much they'll spend, do you?
Well, how much they spend really doesn't bother us that much because what we really want to know that we expect Boise State, for example, to take 17,500 tickets as the ACC would be asked to take 17,500 tickets. I don't think there's any question that the Boise State could use 17,500 tickets to our bowl game or to any major BCS bowl game. We went around today and talked to a lot of the people in the parking lots, the tailgaters, the supporters, the fans, and we just told them, would you go to Miami? Would you go to the Orange Bowl if the opportunity arose? Overwhelmingly, we got the response, are you kidding? We're there. You invite us. We're there. And that's the kind of enthusiasm we look for. Not how much money they're going to bring to town, but really, are they going to come? Are they going to be exciting? Are they going to be a media draw? Are they going to, for example, in Boise State, are they going to attract the press and the media to say, hey, look, this is a Cinderella team. They've never been here before. And I think that could very well happen with Boise State. So
the obligation is 17,500 tickets. And then from there, is it a good story?
That's right. And, and the way they're playing here tonight and looking at what they've got to do and the way they're moving forward, I'm confident that Boise State is going to be in a BCS game this year.
And, Joseph, wouldn't that be part of your guys' equation? If you get stuck with an ACC champion that's, say, 15th, 16th rated or something, and they're not a big buzz team, they're a two-loss team, and you got to look at an attractive opponent to sort of bring something to the table, Boise State may represent one of those kinds of stories for you, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind. I think they would be the darling of the media. And there's a lot of things that this university has going for them that's really interesting too. The support of your president, the support of your athletic director, the fans. So I think that they would be a good quality team for any bowl, and I think they'll do a good job.
Joseph, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you visiting us. Have a great rest of the evening, and you've got a 24/7 ball game, and if Boise State doubles that up, then maybe they are going to be headed to Miami.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and we look forward to putting on another great Orange Bowl on January 2nd.
All right. Joseph Millsaps with the Orange Bowl Committee here on the Paul's Markets Halftime Report. 11 minutes and 13 seconds before you need to come back in for the second half. We come back, we'll take a look at the top 25 games this weekend to keep an eye on here on the All-State Broncos Sports Network.
Red Kettle Drive by welcoming the Salvation Army. Here today representing the Salvation Army in Idaho, Captain Daniel Freeman and Captain Doreen Freeman. The Salvation Army Red Kettles are a symbol of the good that can be accomplished when everyone strives to work together as a team. Caring is sharing. And when you share with the Salvation Army, your gift brings love, life, and hope to our many neighbors who are facing uncertain times. This Christmas season, look for the Red Kettles and be sure to stop and drop in. Let's show our appreciation for the Salvation Army. And now let's welcome to the field Athletic Director Gene Blameyer as he presents the 2006 WAC Championship Trophy to the 2006 Boise State men's tennis team. Under the 2006 WAC Coach of the Year, Greg Patton, and the Region 7 Assistant Coach of the Year, Morgan Shepard and Matt Shane, last year's team won the 2000 WAC Championships again. Members of the team here today are Luke Shields, who is currently ranked in the nation's top 10. Clancy Shields, our first-team All-WAC member. Eric Roberson, who was our first-team All-WAC as well. Steve Robertson, who was also first-team All-WAC. Other team members, Brett Wehrbeck, Peter Dialli, Jamal Hepburn, Keen Feeder, Stanley Saraponich, Blake Boswell, and Nick Gooley. Boise State finished last season ranked 27th nationally, number 2 in the Mountain Region, and they have now won 3 of the last 4 WAC championships. Following their championship, Boise State also presented honorary WAC championship rings to the following individuals for their tremendous support of the Boise State tennis program: Dr. John Hollingsworth, Steve Appleton, and Ron and Lotus Debilius. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2006 WAC tennis champions, your Boise State Broncos. And we continue with our championship recognitions as we direct your attention to midfield, where Athletic Director Gene Blameyer is joined by Bronco wrestler Ben Charrington. As a senior last March, Charrington captured the individual national championship at 157 pounds, becoming just Boise State's second national champion in wrestling. The Granby, Colorado native went undefeated in dual matches last year, posting a 20-0 record, including a 7-3 victory over Brian Stitt of Arizona State in the national championship match. Charrington also won the Pac-10 title at 157 pounds and was Boise State's first wrestler to earn the Pac-10 Wrestler of the Year honor. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2006 national champion at 157 pounds, Boise State's Ben Charrington. Well taken down by Gene Blameyer. State's key sign, Lieutenant Martin Band, under the direction of Professor David Wells. Drumline instructors James Harrison and Zach Bonner. Telegraph instructor Melanie Reno. Graduate assistants Ali Martinez and Sylvia Allen. And program administrator Catherine Puisu. The Hardy mainline dancers under the direction of Jude Stevens and team captain Karen Tucker.
Boise State University.
That's too much slang. I don't know him that well. If I knew him well, it's one thing. What are we going to do?
You can see the future and the new you. Boise State University.
For work or the myriad other places life takes you, there truly is no place like home. Home at Last Furniture can help you furnish it with wonderfully comfortable, tasteful, and durable pieces. Coming up on a smooth, buttery couch, or cozying up on a smooth, buttery couch, or reclining in a Barcalounger that looks as relaxing as it feels, even playing cards around a beautiful game table will make home where you want to be. See why everyone says, I'm so glad I finally stopped in. I only wish I'd have done it sooner. Nestled in the trees behind Applebee's and Emerald, home at last. Stop in today.
Hey, 2:27 to go at the half. Let's take a look at our Les Schwab statistics. Talk about choice. When it comes to tires, nobody offers the selection that Les Schwab does. We know the score is 24-7 Boise State. Fresno State statistics not pretty. 4 first downs, 12 rushes for 13 yards, 49 through the air. Norton's 5 of 10, no interceptions. 62 yards of offense in the first half, Paul J. Not positive. The big play, a touchdown return on the kickoff. That turns things around. 3 penalties for 27 yards. 0 for 5 on third down.
Yeah.
The number 1 team in the country, 0 for 5 tonight in Bronco Stadium. BSU, 13 first downs, 27 rushes for 144 dominant yards. Jared Zabransky, 11 of 16 for 104 yards through the air. BSU, 250 yards of offense on 43 snaps in the first half. 4 costly penalties, though, for 21 yards, dominating the time of possession, 7 of 10 on third. Off to a pretty good start. Individually, on the ground, Ian Johnson, 16 carries for 64 yards. Jared Zabransky, 6 for 39. Legadou Nane on that fake punt, 1 for 30. Vinny Peretta, 3 for 12. Vinny, though, has a touchdown on this football game, as does Ian Johnson. Through the air, Legadou, 3 for 13. Gerard Rabb, 2 for 21. Shue, 2 for 16. Dryson, 1 catch for 28. Brad Lau, 1 for 11. Vinny, 1 for 8. And Ian Johnson even getting in on the act, 1 for 7. Those are your statistics, brought to you by Les Schwab. Our Farm Bureau financial keys to the second half. Here's to a good life. Farm Bureau for life, insurance, annuities, and more. Hey, I don't think anything has changed. Vinny Peretta, Legadou Nane still have to be involved in this football game, getting big plays. But I do have a sense that BSU will go back to controlling the ground game and vis-a-vis controlling the clock.
Yep.
You don't need to take any risks. And I do think Justin Wilcox will sort of call off the dogs and go with a little more conservative approach, keeping Fresno State in front of him, making sure they don't get behind.
I think, though, and this is unusual because Fresno State will be receiving the second half kickoff. I think that Boise State will try to squeeze them down and get a stop. Let's go to our Bronco Motors Hyundai Nissan sideline reporter, Todd Miles. Todd, how was it at halftime?
Hey, business as usual, like always at halftime. I think they're very confident in what they can do out here, both offensively and defensively. One mistake on kickoff and one decent pass play is really all they gave up in the first half.
Yeah, that's right. 2 plays, and that was it. Good point. All right, here's the kickoff. Brought to you by bodybuilding.com. Have a new you at bodybuilding.com. Boom! Taken at the 5-yard line. Taken at the 5-yard line and up to the 15, and bam, there's your auto body specialist collision of the game. Call Auto Body Specialist for an out-of-body experience like young Mr. West just had.
Josh Bean introducing himself to Mr. West on the fly. Looked like he was going to get rolling, but he didn't. He was stopped immediately, cold in his tracks.
Yeah, that was not a 93-yarder like he had earlier at the 17, first down, and we have Brandstatter back in at quarterback. Well, Brandstatter in at quarterback, I should say. He started the first 5 games, and he is back to pass. Firing over the middle, complete right away to Williams, Paul Williams, and he has a first down at the 31.
I think you got to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Pat Hill is doing it because he's been extremely loyal to his quarterbacks. He thinks that's the way to develop them. I don't know that, both these guys are sophomores, so I think he's got to find a winning combination. He's, 1-6. He's got to start thinking about recruiting. He's getting embarrassed on national television.
First down, 10 yards to go. Line of scrimmage, the 31. 14-yard gain on that first down pass. Brandstatter does throw the interception. There's a handoff to right. Big hole across the 40. Another first down. Orlando can't tackle him across the 45. Knocked down in Boise State territory at the 48-yard line. He just took Skandrick for a ride, and Fresno State has come out fired up.
It's just a little different, isn't it?
Yep.
Just a little different. You hit one pass, and then you get a run, and all of a sudden everybody's all jacked up. And that was a great run by Wright, who dragged Orlando Skandrick about 5 yards.
Boise State needs to hit him in the mouth. First down, 10 yards to go at the Boise State 47. So it's Fresno State who comes out fired up here in the second half. Brandstatter hands it off to Wright. Again a big hole. And down to the 41-yard line, a gain of 6 on first down.
Both Andrew Browning and Dennis Ellicks were totally collapsed by the middle of that Fresno State offensive line, and that was a gaping hole. Boise State's lucky they limited that to a 5-yard gain with some great pursuit because the
David
play could have
Shields.
been, and Orlando Skandrick came sneaking in and grabbing a knee.
All right, here we go. Second down. Call it 5. Second down and 5 to go. Spotted it back at the 42-yard line. Offset high formation. Brandstatter calling signals. Hands it off to Wright again. And this time not so much. The Broncos starting to squeeze down a little bit. A gain of 2. It'll be third down and 3.
It all starts with Dennis Ellis. He has to stand Kyle Young up so that he can't do anything. And Brandstatter has 6 interceptions on the year. He does have 6 touchdowns, but there's a reason he was benched. He was immobile. And I'm sure Wilcox, now that he knows it's Brandstatter in there, he may go with more pressure just to keep him moving in the pocket.
Third down, 3 yards to go from the Bronco 40. Brandstatter. Play action. He's being rushed. Looks like he wants to set up the screen. He just throws it away. That's got to be intentional grounding, I believe.
I think both Andrew Browning and Nick Schleckaway, who chased him, thought it was a screen. There was nobody in the pattern, and he just ended up dumping it.
They kind of both stopped and said, who's going to drop off and get the receiver? There wasn't one.
Boy, the momentum just goes dead for Fresno, although they did get a couple of first downs, and that's positive.
Yeah, but, boy, the wind went out of their sails in a big hurry.
Yeah, and you're on Boise State's 40-yard line. You're going to try to pin it and say that your defense can turn this thing around. It's obviously fake territory, but I'm surprised he's doing that.
Tadman deep for the Broncos, standing on the 10-yard line. 12:41 left to go third quarter. 24-7 Broncos. There's the kick. It's a high one, angled toward the sideline, and out of bounds somewhere around the 6. Timeout on the field. 12:34. 1-2-3-4 here in the third quarter. 24-7 Boise State on the Allstate Broncos Sports Network.
Over there, a 32-yard punt, and Boise State will have the ball first and 10. The Broncos thank Tatrens, the official rental supply company of the Broncos, and sponsored this year's pregame tunnel. Tatrens has everything you want, only when you need it.
Dinwiddie in shotgun from the 45-inch line. Blue 20, blue 20. You got Boots here out wide, forcing the backfield. Here's the cat. Oh, he's scrambling. He rolls out, got Boots in the end zone. Touchdown Broncos.
Do it. You should have given me the ball. You know I lead all Broncos with the most touchdowns.
Hey, look, you're a bobblehead.
Bobbleheads available at any Jackson's food stores. Look for the special discount with the purchase of Coca-Cola products.
I'm going to Jackson's to get a set of my own bobbleheads.
Next Tuesday, as the voters decide, Idaho's News Channel 7 and KTVB.com bring you the most comprehensive coverage of Idaho's general election. Watch Decision 2000 for live continuous reports on candidates and election results. Decision 2006 on Idaho's News Channel 7 and KTVB.com. Boise State would like to recognize Idaho Sports Medicine Institute, the official team doctors of the Broncos. The ISMI offices are conveniently located at the southeast corner of Bronco Stadium, just outside of entrance 4 of the stadium. Stop by and see the Idaho Sports Medicine Institute staff. I'm Don Fuse, George Wade.
Network, our score 24-7. 12 minutes and 34 seconds to go. Boise State 1st and 10 on their own 8-yard line with their first possession of the second half. And Paul J., as we've noted before, BSU doesn't want to be in this position. They would rather get the ball to start the second half. And now we get a sense why, because Fresno uses the momentum of that halftime speech to convert themselves into some nice plays, and now they've got BSU, down on their end of the field, and they can 3 and out and get nice field position and maybe get something on the board.
Yep, Broncos have it on their own 8. Now, if the Fresno State defense comes out as fired up as the offense did and can make a couple of plays, the Broncos could be in dire straits.
Hard to believe we're seeing the same Fresno State we did last year.
Yeah.
You go 1-10 your last 11 games.
Broncos 10-1 in that same span.
Don't even recognize them.
All right, first down, Boise State. Broncos at their own 8-yard line. Zabransky calling signals. They show blitz, Fresno State does. Man in motion is Rab. Handoff, a little counter play to Ian Johnson up across the 10-yard line to the 11. Looked like he had no hole at all. Was going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Somehow gets 3.
Just a drive, and Dwayne Andrews does a nice job. He's one of the better tacklers on the team and in the conference. And he had trouble bringing down Ian Johnson. The BSU trainer's coming out on the field now as
Ian Johnson,
Bronco is down. I think just looks like he's trying to catch his breath. Well, it's going to be hard to catch your breath when you're laying down now.
Ian Johnson has had some hip problems and some ankle problems, some leg problems this year. He is flat on his back.
Yeah, and they are taking a look at his knee, his right knee, and I think he's just to the point now where he has to see if everything's okay.
Ian Johnson getting up and coming off the field under his own power, and boy, is that good news.
Yeah, I'm sure in a minute or two or so, Todd will be able to cruise by there and get an update.
Second down and 7 yards to go. Line of scrimmage is the 11. Back to pass. Zabransky sets up, fires. Out there is Rab. He's got it at midfield down to the 47. First down. What a great pass. Right on the money by Zabransky. That ball was in the air 50 yards. McKelvey on the defense, and Rab just went up and took it away. It was a great pass and a great catch.
Marcus McCauley, who some think will be the 17th pick overall in the draft, is number 17. Just got out-positioned by Gerard Rab, who did the thing a receiver is supposed to do, go up and grab the ball. Don't wait for it to come down. Take it at its highest peak, and that's what you get as a result.
Looked like a rebounder in a basketball game. First down at the 46-yard line in Fresno territory. There's a handoff to Bryson James at the 45, the 40, down to the 30, inside the 25, knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Boy, the old fly sweep that time, and James just burned it down for big yardage, and the crowd wants a late hit.
It was a little bit of a extracurricular throw out of bounds by Lane, who's been all over Boise State. Yeah, maybe he finished off the tackle out of bounds when he didn't have to.
Yep. First down at the Fresno State 21. The Broncos will take the result of the play. Like Ian Johnson back in a ball game. Back to pass. Zabransky fires, caught by Lau, and Lau inside the 20 down to the 19.
He must be exhausted now.
Yes, 2 catches tonight.
I mean, he's just now 3 catches on the season.
He's hurt. He's hurt. He's coming out. He's flexing. He's going, they're using me too much. I got to go sit down.
Got to renegotiate.
Yeah, oh man, I tell you what. His wife is one of the better soccer players for the Boise State soccer team. She's good. I think all conference.
Well, they can train together.
Yep. 3 receivers to the right. Zabransky calling signals. Johnson takes the handoff, cuts inside. Zabransky has it at the 15. He's down to the 10. A gain of 8. Nice deception by Z.
Yeah, what you were describing is an innocent way of saying that's how it feels to be a Fresno State linebacker.
Who's got
Because
it?
when Ian faked the handoff, he was dipping and diving and shucking and jiving. You literally think he has the ball. And there were defenders that went for Ian Johnson as well. That is just a tremendous job on carrying through a fake.
First down at the 10-yard line. Fresno State fans out in the lobby were disheartened at halftime. And the officials. There's Zabransky with a keeper. He's at the 10, weaves his way down to about the 7, gets hit pretty hard.
Yeah, that was a real aggressive option run for Jared, who wanted to run that ball the second he could, and they were totally outmanned, outflanked to the short side of the field, and Derek Schumann wasn't able to give him any cushion. Did not work out in that instance.
Yeah, short gain on the play of about 2.5. Call it second down and 8. Broncos can get a first down, I think, at about the 1 foot line. High formation. Zabransky calling signals, hands it off. Ian Johnson at the 5, down to the 4.
A hurry-up offense by Boise State, trying to catch Fresno State out of position and throw Ian Johnson at him, has scored a lot this year.
Yep.
And Fresno was not in position, but recovered quite nicely at the snap of the ball with their defensive line. Tyler Klutz and some of those other big guys inside like Shirley and Leonard did a great job that time.
Broncos going with a light package as Nene and Rapp come in. Tight ends go out. Boise State going to spread them out here on the 4-yard line. Schumann is in as an H-back. Now he goes in motion right to left. Back to pass. Zabransky throws the fade. All alone. Rapp for the touchdown. Nobody near him. Unbelievable, and they got McCauley again. This guy is supposed to be drafted, huh?
17th overall pick by Mel Kiper, one of the best corners in the country, number 1 NFL prospect on this team.
Oof. I tell you what, that he never was in that play. McCauley is Rapp just went out there and made a great catch, a beautiful throw by Zabransky. No deception or anything. It's just threw the fade to the corner.
No, McCauley bit.
30-7, Boise State. PAT is up by AM. It's good. 31-7 Broncos.
Del Taco puts out $100 to the Victory in Christ Recovery House, a nonprofit halfway house for adults with alcohol and drug problems. Del Taco on Broadway, open 24 hours every day.
All right, we'll take a break. 8:42 left to go. 31-7 Broncos on the Allstate Broncos Sports Network.
Nice. Bookstore on Monday to review the final discount. The Broncos thank Jackson's Food Stores for the contribution to the BAA on the Bronco touchdown. And the Broncos thank Murphy's Moran for contributing to the BAA.
This season, score big with the Idaho Lottery and BSU football. Get in on the action at the Idaho Lottery Jackson's booth during every home game. Buy lottery products and be eligible to win fabulous prizes like 2 BSU football tickets, 6 pairs given away each game, or 2 sideline passes, 1 winner each game. Or you can win the grand prize of an all-expense paid trip for 2 with the team to the Boise State Reno football game in November. Big fun and excitement at BSU home games with the Idaho Lottery, Jackson's, and BSU football.
It's time now for the West Rob Tire Toss. Our lucky fan of the field, Tyler, has a chance to win a free set of West Rob tires. And he can play quarterback and toss the football through a large tire 20 yards away, as you can see, in the back of the official touchdown truck. So, Tyler, let's win some tires. Oh, he did. Okay, he didn't make it. Sorry, Tyler. Good shot, though.
State, an 8-play, 92-yard drive, used 3 minutes and 52 seconds. And a little fade, a 4-yard fade from Zabransky to Jared Rabb. And the Broncos lead 31-7. The scoring drive recap brought to you by Access Heating and Air Conditioning, your access to total comfort, locally owned, locally operated. Wow, Jeff, been pretty impressive night for Boise State so far. Total offense 340 to 105.
Just not the same Fresno State team, Paul J. And I know that people are questioning the top, Pat Hill. They say teams reflect the character and personality of the head coach. And he set his sights so high for this program. Now they go 1-11. I would definitely give him the benefit of the doubt if I'm the AD or president.
No question.
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm asking him, what do you want to do, Pat? How do you want to rebuild this thing? Where are we at? I'm asking him.
Yeah, he may have to rethink the way he does things.
Whatever he wants
The
to
way
do.
he schedules. Maybe, they lost a couple of assistants, as you mentioned. Here's the kickoff by Montgomery. Left-footed kick. Boy, he rams this one down. Taken at the 3. Upfield to the 10. Lead to the 15. Knocked down at the somewhere around the 19-yard line.
It's too late, though, Paul. They've got Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, Kansas State, and Wisconsin already scheduled.
Yeah.
So you can't back out of those.
No, they got Cincinnati. That was Chambly on the run back up to the 19. They got Cincinnati coming in. Cincinnati is a BCS game you can win, although they'll be better next year, too. They got a very young team. All right, first down, 10 yards to go.
If that were the basketball team, I'd be more excited.
Yeah, no question. All right, Brandstatter back to pass. Fires over the middle. Intercepted by Corey Hall. His 6th interception at the 30. He's to the 25, the 20. He's to the 15, to the 10. Knocked down at the 9. That's why you don't play Brandstatter. That is interception number 7.
Yeah, and 16 for Boise State on defense. They continue to dominate.
So 6 interceptions for Hall, 17 for the Broncos as a team, and 7 now thrown by Brandstatter. First and goal, Broncos.
Another one really right into the breadbasket, and I really believe that's Justin Wilcox, because he's putting guys in passing lanes to make those kinds of plays. That wasn't happening last year with all that man coverage. So that has been a benefit of this new defensive philosophy.
Yeah, and that's why Brandstatter did not start tonight and may not next week. There's a handoff to Ian Johnson, hit, tripped up at the line of scrimmage. If there's been one downside tonight, Ian has not had a great night.
I think Fresno's done a nice job keying on him. He's got double X's on his back at this point, he's 18 for 71. Now, that being said, Ian is 120, 25-yard away from being right in that 100-yard area. Yeah. And given this game at 31-7, a lot of people are moving on.
Yeah. And Ian Johnson is too, as he is out of the ball game. Zabrowski calling signals. Brett Denton the setback. Z back to pass. Pump fake. Has all day. Still has all day. Could run for it, I think. He's at the 15. He's going to run. He's at the 10. Spin move to the 4. Gain on the play of about 4. Waited just a little bit too long, I think, to take off that time.
Yeah, I think the first instinct was right. He should have ran, but he had eye check just looking him down the barrel, and Z said, okay, I'll wait and see if somebody can get loose. There's so many breakdowns tonight, and guys are making big plays off of that kind of action that you have to give a lot of credit to the wide receivers for coming back to Z and giving them some options.
Third down play. Uh-oh, look at this. The Broncos shift. They run a diamond, and they fire to Peretta. Runs right into a Fresno State Bulldog, bounces off of him, and goes into the end zone for a touchdown. Well, I haven't seen that. The Broncos ran a diamond off to the right. Nobody in the backfield except Zabrowski, and Fresno standing there going, what the heck is this? A little pass out there to the back man in the diamond, which was Peretta, and he scores easily.
Sort of create a box and one around him. 3 guys for Boise State to block for Peretta, and they just suddenly shifted 4 guys out wide after all being near the center of the line of formation.
Just another way to outnumber them on the line of scrimmage, and the Broncos did.
And another way for Del Taco to give $100 to the Victory in Christ Recovery nonprofit halfway house for adults with alcohol and drug problems. Del Taco on Broadway Minutes from right where we are, open 24 hours daily.
38-7 now, Boise State with the lead. A 3-play, 9-yard drive, used a minute 40, and the pass to Peretta for his second touchdown of the afternoon. A scoring drive recap by Access Heating and Air Conditioning, your access to total comfort, locally owned and operated. 38-7, and the Broncos now have outscored Fresno State. The Boise State has scored 28 in a row. Or have they scored 31 in a row? 31 in a row.
That's how it's come for BSU this year in bunches. You look at all their big wins.
I'm wrong again. They've actually scored 35 in a row.
Yeah, they all come in bunches like that. The Oregon State game was like that and others. And You know, ESPN's already turning to their Phil stuff. They're interviewing Carl Benson on the field, and I'm sure they're talking about the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl, and they're going to try to build this story up because a Boise State BCS bowl game story has to be sold.
There's a kickoff by Montgomery. It's short, really short, taken at the 10 by West, up to the 20, 25, 30, and this time he's knocked down at the 37. He's pretty good. Mike
He shakes arm tackles, and Josh Bean threw an arm out, and he just runs right through those.
That was Nick Harris, actually, who made the stop for Boise State. Harris on special teams, the seldom used wide receiver. So the Broncos 35 straight points now after trailing 7-3. Boise State has taken command. And Bradstatter remains in the game. What are you going to do? It's his half. I don't think they can take him out.
Got to stand back and throw it.
West in motion. Bradstatter inside handoff. Dwayne Wright across the 40 up to about the 43, a gain of 5.
And your Boise State, just let them do it all night.
Sure.
You can do that all you want. Run that. That's 5:50 to go in the quarter, and if they want to continue to run the football just to save face and try to open it up for the run game, probably too late for either of those things. It's too bad. It's very difficult, I'm sure, for Pat Hill to sit here and watch.
The attendance report brought to you by Domino's Pizza. 30,604 tonight. Get the door. It's Domino's. Bradstatter back to pass. Fires. Caught. And a great tackle again. I tell you what, I love this little guy. As yet another tackle by Kyle Wilson. And Pinter on the catch at the 43. And he gets no further. I mean, nothing, not an inch after the catch.
The closing speed is what's impressive, and it's one thing to let a guy catch a ball in front of you, and it's another to make that tackle and make sure his yards after the catch are limited, and that's what Kyle Wilson did now with a critical 3rd and 5. BSU looks to turn it over one more time.
See if they can get Bradstatter into making a mistake. Looks like he might be changing the play. Back to pass, sets up, fires. Got a first down to Fernandez at the 50 and pushed out of bounds at the 43. Joe Fernandez.
Now there was a mistake by Wilson who did not make the tackle. Even if he had, it would have been a first down anyway. But those are the risks of one-on-one coverage. Those are the risks. And there were guys that had his back and limited that to a short gain. It still turns it into a first down for Fresno, who seems to be more comfortable with Bradstatter in a quarterback.
Crowd is staying pretty good tonight. Gene Blameyer was ecstatic at the Stripe Stadium. He just loved it. Miller now in at running back. We have not seen him. And he takes the handoff, little bitty guy, and boy, he's almost gone. Boy, nice saving tackle again by Kyle Wilson. But a good gain on the play of about 9 down to the 36.
He took Hawaii for 113 yards in the second half.
Yeah.
So he's gotten some reps, and they need all the changes of paces that they can get. You know, you're down 31 points, and you're probably whittling away the third quarter right here.
He's the future. Lanye Miller remains in the ballgame. Second down, about a yard. Man in motion. Hand off to Miller again. This time he runs into a stout Boise State David Shields at the line of scrimmage, who pushes him back. But they're going to give him his forward progress and no gain.
David Shields was one of the guys we said had to step up and make some plays today to pick up the slack. And so far he's already got about 5 tackles on the evening. That's what they need out of him, because Kyle Ging has twice the amount of tackles that Shields does, and he's stepping up tonight.
How long is Ging going to be out? Do we know?
They just found out that he had been sick. That they've said it is mono.
That could end his season, huh?
Well, now they can at least treat it.
Yeah, Wright. He did not make the first down. That was Wright, I think, who was in there, and he just got pushed back and did not make the first down.
Very frustrating.
Was
I know.
Miller, my mistake.
Yeah, it was Lanye Miller, but this is a power football team, and Wright does come back into the game now, but Pat Hill just can't believe his eyes. He just cannot understand why they can't gain a couple of yards. That's their deal.
They put the bigger back in, Wright. See if they try the same thing. 4th down and a yard. Bradstatter calling signals. Now, he's big. He's built like Zabransky, only a couple inches taller, but hands it off to Wright, scooting along, and he makes the first down, breaks into the secondary at the 30, knocked down at the 24-yard line. Good run that time. Colt Brooks with a touchdown-saving tackle.
Made a nice cut on Gerald Alexander, who came up to support the run and tried to make an arm tackle because he kind of got juked out of position by Wright, who cut inside, and he didn't have the legs underneath him to bring him down. 1st and 10 for Fresno State, who's driving.
Very similar score to what LSU beat Fresno State by. That was 38-6. This is 38-7. There's a handoff. That is Wright, and he's down near the 20-yard line, a gain of 4.
You know, you can almost characterize this as garbage time because you're down by 31, and you're running the ball now in this possession. That seems to me he's run.
Can't pass it.
How many times does he run the ball in this particular possession? 4 or 5 times?
Well, he and Miller together have run it half a dozen anyway.
Well, you're down 31 points, man.
I know.
Okay? It isn't a cloud of dust time necessarily.
Trying to keep his score down.
I don't know what, just trying to get anything going probably.
Yeah, trying not to turn it over, not to make mistakes. Now there goes Brandstetter, back to pass. Got a man wide open, Fernandez, touchdown. He caught it at the 1. Boy, he sneaked out from his tight end position and was wide open.
Yeah, and when Fernandez sneaks out from tight end, he's really doing it because he only weighs about 175, so he's easy to lose in all that traffic. Corey Hall was the closest man to him, and Boise State just had a mix-up in coverage as Orlando Scandrick came up to get somebody in front of him and totally disregarded anybody going behind him.
He was on the end of the line of scrimmage, ran toward the middle of the field, and then cut back, and there was nobody with him. And Fresno State has narrowed the gap, and the Broncos' 35 straight points is at an end. PAT is up and good. And with 1:40 left to go here in the third quarter, the score, Boise State 38, Fresno State 14 on the Broncos, All-State Broncos Sports Network.
Connection delivery truck is on its way to Bronco Stadium. If you're sitting in the seat displayed, you've just won a large pizza for a month for the next year, courtesy of Chicago Connection, as well as just your supply of food product, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Don't go anywhere. The Chicago Connection Lucky Fan Delivery will be there momentarily.
Milk, shakes, and scooped real ice cream shakes and malts. New at Carl's Jr.
Yarder, 38-14. Scoring drive recap brought to you by Access Heating and Air Conditioning, locally owned and operated.
We're able to watch ESPN's feed, and they're already promoting bowl buzzes and BSU's BCS rankings and
touting the Big East. The Big East teams really don't have much strength of schedule either. You know, talking.
Well, one of them's out tomorrow.
Yep.
West Virginia and Louisville, but this BCS thing starts top down. We're at the end of the food chain, just relaying the information to you.
Yep. All right, ready to go. And I've seen Rutgers play their last 2 games, and they have struggled mightily. Here's the kickoff. Going to be returned. Taken on the far side of the field up to the 10, the 15, the 20, and 25-yard line. Rashawn Scott with a nice kickoff return for Boise State of 26 yards.
Remarkable how much easier it is to identify him after he makes a big play at Idaho, and he admitted it. He said, "Well, I was kind of in the background. I was just kind of out there."
Everybody thinks I'm Skandrick because 6s and 8s in those white uniforms look a lot the same. Broncos with their white pants on tonight. They haven't worn them in several years at home. They've been going in all blue. Everybody likes the way they look now because the Broncos are playing well. Zabransky calling signals. Man in motion. That's Lau. Probably going out for another pass. He is. He's caught his third of the night. The 25-30. The 35. Shaking and baking. Knocked down at the 37-yard line.
So do you wait, in big games to bust tendencies like this and go ahead and throw to a guy 3 times and it only caught 1 ball all year?
I guess.
Do you save those things for these kinds of moments and then reshuffle the deck for next week when you got to go to San Jose State? Who will be the next tendency buster?
Yeah. That's good, though, because now they got to think about Brad Lau when he's in there, and all he's done for 8 games is block. Back to pass to Bransky. Well, there's nobody to block. Nobody open either.
There's just no rush.
Bransky now weaving his way up to about the 37, gets back near the line of scrimmage.
Still positive that
Ian
he didn't
Johnson
give it
looking
up.
for anybody to block.
The fact that Ian's in a passing situation is, again, another tendency buster. That Boise State's starting to show this stuff, and now Dick Tomey's the guy they're worried about and how he's going to analyze this tape.
20 seconds left, 15 now in the third quarter as the Broncos have scored fairly evenly. 10 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second, 14 in the third, and that's going to be it as they're walking off the field. It'll be second down and 10 when we come back for the fourth quarter. At the end of 3, the score, Boise State 38, Fresno State 14 on the Allstate Broncos Sports Network.
Okay, fans, check out Bronco Vision for the end zone dash. Take your pick. Who do you think will win? The copier, the Orange Max, or the Gray Printer? Tickets and take a peek at Bronco Vision, because if your ticket matches one of the C locations listed, you've just won a Nike football autographed by head coach Chris Peterson. Stay in your seat, and a Boise State representative will deliver your autographed football courtesy of Boise Office Equipment. And remember, for all your office needs, choose Boise Office Equipment. The company others wish they could copy, and a proud Team Bronco partner of Bronco Athletics.
Tennis fans, you want the best? We got the best. St. Luke's Idaho Elks Rehabilitation Services presents tennis legend Pete Sampras. See the 14-time Grand Slam champion as he takes on ATP tennis star Robbie Ginepri. Friday, December 8th at Fresno Arena. Go-Fit superstar Pistol Pete Sampras when he serves it up in the St. Luke's Idaho Elks Rehabilitation Services tennis shootout. Sponsored in part by the Boise Co-op. Tickets are available at FresnoArenaIdaho.com or by calling 331-X.
It's time now to select the winner of the best seat in the house for the next home game on November the 18th against Utah State. Courtesy of your Northwest Dodge dealers, KBY and RC Willett. If you better to win the tailgate party from KBY, listen up. Our winner is Kevin Fish. Kevin, you and a guest will be sitting in recliners in the back of a Dodge pickup on the sidelines at the Utah State game. And you'll also be getting a brand new Lazy Boy recliner courtesy of RC Willie. And the best seat in the house. But the Broncos need to move, they count on our man. So when you need someone you can count on for your win, call Airband at 345.
Back once again, the score at the end of 3, 38-14, Boise State. 15 minutes of football remain. Let's go down to our Bronco Motors Hyundai Nissan sideline reporter, Todd Miles. Pretty happy group of Broncos, probably, huh, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a little disappointed they gave up that drive for a touchdown, but, all things considered, 38-14 heading into the fourth quarter. Minus the run game, which Fresno's done a great job of taking away. Boise State's offenses look great.
Yeah, they have 197 yards still, though, on the ground.
Most of it in the first half, so they've shut it down in the third quarter, and their average yards per rush could be better, but I think it's mostly Ian that Todd's alluding to. 19 carries for 72 yards. It's fairly well containing Ian. He's got a couple of series to go, though, before he takes the rest of the night off.
2nd down and 10 for Boise State. Man in motion is Rabb. Single coverage shot here very wide. Back to pass Zabransky. Standing in the pocket, fires underneath. Oh, nice catch. And down goes Jeremy Childs at about the 43-yard line. Third quarter stats brought to you by Syringa Bank. Expertise, integrity, and value all years at Syringa Bank. The Broncos have run for 197 yards, passed for 164 for 361 total yards. Fresno State, they have run for 71, passed for 96 for 167. Boise State dominating. Third down for Boise State, 5 yards to go. Look at this. Now they got a diamond on this side. They break it off with Nene in motion. Now balanced receivers, 2 on each side. Broncos showing a lot of stuff tonight. Back to pass Zabransky. Has time, fires, intercepted. This might be a touchdown. The 40, down to the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, touchdown. Nice interception. He threw it right to him. A big mistake by Jared Zabransky, the first one he's made tonight. And Damon Jenkins, the cornerback, jumped it, was all by himself. Pass was thrown behind the intended receiver. And Fresno now has scored 2 touchdowns in a row, and they're back in the ballgame.
And they've got their first interception of the year. That's something that they had not accomplished, so that feels good to them. To be back in a 38-21 ball game, that feels a little bit better to them. A 17-point game has to get them a little more excited about playing in this fourth quarter.
No question. Didn't take them long to score in the fourth quarter.
Can't throw an out pattern that far away like that.
Boy, the PAT nearly blocked by Orlando Skandrick, but it is good. 38-21 with 14:02 left to go. And the Broncos will be returning another kick here momentarily.
Jared Zabransky now with 5 interceptions on the season, still, considerably ahead of what he had done.
That was one of the worst right there, though.
But, last year against Fresno, he was 15 of 32 with 2 interceptions. And that's one of the errors that they'll quote, I'm sure, when they talk about this game. They'll also talk about the way the game started for Boise State with too many errors coming on procedure penalties. So they'll have plenty to discuss. They want 52 points at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah, and the defense will say, now how did Mr. Fernandez get so wide open on this touchdown play? So Boise State now back on offense. They'll be returning the kick here from Fresno State. 14:02 left to go. The Bronco lead down to 17. Quentin Jones, Sean Scott deep for Boise State. So the Broncos see 14 quick points by Fresno State. Here comes the kick. Headed toward Jones. Boy, that kick is deep in the end zone. He will not return that one. Rashawn Scott runs back there and says, no.
Well, Fresno's got some new life pumped into him, and looks like they took a cheap shot there at the end at Quentin Jones.
What in the world was that about?
Well, they're all shaking their heads like they did nothing, and they essentially tried to do it while the referee's back was...
A penalty flag is down there, though.
Was to them, and I don't know if that's a penalty flag or graffiti. Trash.
Oh, it is trash, isn't it? Right.
Well, Quentin just kneeled down in the end zone, and then while he was kneeling down...
He got shoved over backwards.
Yeah, one of the Fresno State special teamers just came up and barely pushed him. He kind of just said, okay, I'm tagging you, if you will, and then Quentin fell down because he was off balance, and then our friend Ryan Machado just ran off again.
Machado's been trying to start a fight all night. There's a quick pitch back to Ian Johnson. Johnson 20, 25, 30, 35. Knocked down at the 38. Best run of the night for IJ.
What do we say? Fourth quarter.
Here he comes.
Now everybody's a little tight, cold, sitting there. Their hamstrings are kind of coming together, and he just pops one like that, and he has that burst of speed. I read this morning that he's got that 4.4 speed, PJ.
4.46.
I never saw it. He doesn't look that fast to me.
And he's big and he's strong. Dennis Erickson said that he was bigger and stronger than any running back he ever had at Miami.
Wow, and they want 10 more pounds on Ian Johnson.
Yep. Z hands it off. This time Brett Ditton. And he is hit straight up at the line of scrimmage and might have lost a couple.
Yeah, we can hear the reaction of Fresno State from here as that tackle was made by Josh Surley, who is really one of their best tacklers and now also one of their best Tarzan imitators.
Really. Surley, 45 total tackles. What a second on the team behind Dwayne Anders. Second down, and they call it no gain. Second down and 10. There's a pass complete to Vinny Peretta. Peretta at the 40 almost gets away, knocked down to the 42. Penalty flag down in the backfield.
Yeah, and thrown at the line of scrimmage, so usually that means somebody was holding something that they shouldn't have been.
That would be Ryan Clady, I do believe.
Derek Schumann did a nice job at the point of attack, allowing Vinny Peretta to be able to get upfield.
Holding. Offense. Number 91.
It was Schumann.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
Well, I didn't think he held him. I bet he got some of his jersey.
Must have.
When he tried to jack him up.
So things not going too well for Boise State.
Yeah, he got him with his left hand. And sometimes what will happen is a tight end will put his hand up on his shoulder pad and try to turn him so that you can turn the corner, and to do that, you have to grab his jersey sometimes.
Yeah,
it's necessary.
Didn't look like a lot there, though. Second down and 20. Z back to pass. Now he's going to run. Oh, big mistake. Hit hard at the 31 after a 1-yard gain.
Just a quarterback draw. Brad Lau was supposed to kind of lead him through and ended up without his helmet, and now he's jawing with more of the Fresno State guys, and Ryan McKinley, who's in for Andrews, trying to bait him into it. And at the end of the day, Boise State looks up and says, okay, now we're at 3rd and 16, 11:44 to go in this game. And
Fresno's getting jacked up.
They don't convert it. They could wake up and it could be a 10-point game.
That's exactly right. Zabrowski calling signals. Nene in motion, left to right. Fresno showing blitz. Here they come. Z rolls away from it, sets up the screen, almost intercepted, caught by Johnson at the 30, gains a yard to the 32.
Great defense by Fresno, showing tremendous team speed.
That pass was almost intercepted by Vincent Mays, the strong safety, as he came up, and the pass just right over his head.
Pretty risky throw, really. Most often in those kind of long situations, when you throw that screen up there, those guys are all the way upfield, but Fresno didn't get fooled, and Ian Johnson is getting used more and more as a receiver.
Improbably, though, Fresno back in the game. Here's the punt by Stringer. Taken back at the 16, and the Broncos are going to knock him down at the 14-yard line. Iafallo came down and hit him first. Rashawn Scott came down and finished him off. It was Fallo who stood him up, and Rashawn knocked him down. Timeout on the field, 10:43 left to go. 38-21 Broncos on the Allstate Broncos Sports Network.
At the 16-yard line, it'll be 15-10. A 52-yard punt. So let's start kind of quickly. Here's your chance to guess the attendance of Bronco City, brought to you by the Idaho Lottery. Attendance is 30,604. Is brought to you by the Idaho Lottery.
Boise State, 10:43 left to go. Fresno State has the ball back and could cut the lead to 10 with a touchdown on this drive. They have the ball at their own 16-yard line. Let's go down to our Bronco Motors Hyundai Nissan sideline reporter, Todd Miles. Any sign of panic on the Broncos sideline, Todd?
No, I don't think so. I think that, 21 points, one of them on a kick return and one of them on an interception return. I think the defense is very, very confident in their ability to stop Fresno.
Good point there. The offense has only had one drive. Unfortunately, it was the last time they had the ball. They've been held to 167 yards on the night.
Yeah, and it's really come on the ground the last 9-play drive. 5 of those were runs. Now they've got 21 rushes for 71 yards on the night.
Lonnie Miller in at tailback, the smaller running back for Fresno State. Brandstatter back to pass. Miller out in the pass pattern. There's a long pass to Williams, and it's incomplete. And Williams that time picking on Kyle Wilson, gave him a little shove at the 45, but he turned left and the ball went right.
I'm surprised they haven't tried that more. Williams is such a big, strong guy. Kyle is a young, smaller corner. You would think they'd attack that, but that time...
I don't think Brandstatter's accurate enough to do that much.
Well, it's just sometimes better than nothing. They can always get a pass interference call, and it's just not something that's been effective for him this evening, or, as you said, all year.
Right now, back in the backfield. Brandstatter drops back into a shotgun. 2nd down and 10 from the 16. Broncos jumping around on defense. Brandstatter back to pass. Fires complete to right. Wright has a block. Breaks a tackle from Hall. Breaks another tackle. He's gone. 40, 45. He's to the 50 and knocked down at the 49-yard line. And a penalty flag is down. We could have any number of blocks in the back or holds because he was weaving his way through traffic, and this one's coming back.
Boy, Mike G. Williams got hit so hard, his helmet is all the way in the end zone.
Offense, number 59. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
And you
Replay, 2nd down.
You could see the hold when he cut back to the center of the field. It looked like a Bronco with his back to him couldn't get turned around, and he was being held.
No, Kyle Young is the best center in the country, and so he's going to have a lot of people watching him, including linesmen who are going to see how he gets that done sometimes. And unfortunately for them, that came at the wrong time, but doesn't take away from the fact that when you miss a tackle like Corey Hall did, it can hurt you dearly.
Yeah, he had him stopped for a very short game. 10 minutes left to go in the ball game. Bronco lead 17. Fresno State. Now they load up the left side with 4 receivers. Now shift back to a balanced look. Brandstatter. Play action. Rolling out. Fires upfield. Caught and knocked down at the 24-yard line. Pretty good gain on the play, though, of about 8.
I just think those are the kinds of possessions at this point that Boise State doesn't mind giving up. The clock continues to roll. It is a 3rd down now. Fresno State has a decision to make. It's 3rd and 2. You could try to run for it, but what are you going to do if you don't get it? Yeah. I think they've got to look at going a little bit more with something in the air.
First catch of the night for Bear Pasco. 3rd down and 2. Under center. Brandstatter now backs out to a shotgun. They had a guy jump, and a penalty flag is going to be thrown at Marlon Moore on the far side of the field as Brandstatter.
Offense, number 5.
You know, that's
5-yard penalty.
That's what
remains 3rd down.
Pat Hill told you in the pregame. He said, look, these guys were playing on Sunday nights a couple of weeks ago.
That
in other words,
they weren't on the team.
Yeah, they were practicing for next year. Marlon Moore's a redshirt freshman, and they're getting pressed into action because of injuries to the wide receivers. Williams has been hurt. Fernandez has been hurt, and they're just not the same.
Fresno State had Boise State off guard when they came up to the line of scrimmage, but didn't snap the ball. 3rd down and 8. Brandstatter back to pass. Here comes the rush from the outside. He way overthrows his intended receiver on the far side of the field. Coverage by Orlando Skandrick.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been enough for a 1st down anyway, and then he sailed it high. Just a couple of quarterbacks that have a lot of work to do before they can lead a Fresno State team, probably.
So Fresno will have to punt. It's 4th down and 8. And the Broncos will get the ball back with about 8.5 minutes left to go here in the ball game. Boise State leads it 38-21, but Fresno State has scored 14 in a row.
Yeah, they'll want a finishing drive here, and I still think we'll hear Coach Pete talk about finishing better.
Bryson James almost got the block on the punt. It's a short one.
I think they did get a piece of it, the ref saying.
Might have, yeah. The ref is saying that he did. And the fair catch made by Marty Tadman at the 47. Timeout on the field. This is another Geico timeout. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit them at geico.com. 8:27 left, 38-21 on the Allstate Broncos Sports Network.
The Broncos' 2006 regular season home schedule concludes on Saturday, November the 18th, against Utah State. 1 o'clock kickoff right here at Bronco Stadium. It's also Toys for Tots Day. Please bring a new toy for a child that would otherwise not receive a gift at Christmas. And make this year's holiday season special for our Treasure Valley youth. That's the Broncos against Utah State on Saturday, November the 18th at 1 o'clock.
I'd like a personal checking account. Well, I'm all ears. What's your name? Rob. Rob Lee. All right, Bill. Can I call you Willie? Emma, how about a cup of coffee for Frank here? Rob. I heard that. You married her, Esther? No. A little something for the missus.
Here's your milkshake, Kenny.
Rob.
Personal
checking at other banks isn't always personal. I need you here, Teddy. U.S. Bank checking is built around you with interest on balances, free internet bill pay, free ATMs, and the most reward choices, even cash back. U.S. Bank. 5-star service guaranteed. How many stars does your bank have? Bye, Murray. Rob.
For breaking news, weather, and big store coverage of the Run Most, check out the new KTVB.com featuring Idaho News Now. Idaho News Now delivers the news and weather.
Sports Network, 38-21 Boise State with 8:27 to go in the fourth quarter. Don't forget, if you're watching this game on ESPN and listening to the voice of the Broncos, Paul J. Schneider on KBOI, you can win a delay play so that you can synchronize the KBOI sound with the video of your choice, however you get it, through Dish or DirecTV or Cable One. With the delay play, everything will sync up just perfectly. Go to 670KBOI.com or listen mornings on KBOI and afternoons on KTIK to win your own delay play, or go to the Crescent Bar and Grill and check out the delay play for any Boise State home game and see how it works yourself.
Fourth quarter brought to you by the Blue and Orange Store, 2,300 square feet of Bronco heaven in the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. What color is your world? Well, our world is blue and orange tonight.
Blue and orange, blue and orange, blue and orange.
Yep, they have it. The stadium was striped. Looked very good. I hope they took some pictures.
Okay, I can hear it now. They're going to have a whiteout soon because they've already sold enough blue and orange gear. They got to switch.
Well, they call up the Blue and Orange Store and say, what colors you got a lot of? No, they don't.
No, they're going to call them.
I'm thinking they should have reversible blue and orange shirts that you sell. You can
I do know this. Nike's already done the work on BCS bowl gear, and they're ready to whip that out the second they can.
First down, 10 yards to go for Boise State. Broncos at their own 47. They lead by 17. Handoff. Ian Johnson. Johnson across the 50 down to the 47-yard line, gain of 6.
I think the interesting thing, Paul, though, is that everybody has just been stuck on the Fiesta Bowl, all the national media.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the Orange Bowl guy, it makes sense. If they get stuck literally with a 2 or 3 loss ACC champion, who in the world could the Orange Bowl put against a 2 or 3 loss ACC champion that anybody would care about?
Boise State.
That's the only team that they would care about.
Same scenario for the Sugar Bowl.
Great storyline.
Yep. Calling signals, Zabransky, second down and 4, hands it off to Ian again and slides along the line of scrimmage, pushes his way down to the 42, first down.
And it's really similar to the situation that Utah found themselves in against Pittsburgh of the Big East. A winnable BCS opponent in a BCS bowl game for a non-BCS bowl team. That is nirvana.
Yeah, well, and Utah won by what, 35?
Yeah, so you put Boise State against Texas in the Fiesta Bowl, let's face it, their chances of winning that game aren't as good as traveling to Miami to place Boston College in a rematch.
Payoff's the same. Look at this. Double diamond. Boise State pass. Complete to Peretta at the 40, down to the 35, down to the 34-yard line, hit hard.
You know, and the big key is getting Derek Schumann out on the edge to be able to block against some of the defensive backs for Fresno State. And he is the best blocking guy on this team, and they're taking advantage of it.
Let's go down to our Bronco Motors Huntley Nissan sideline reporter, Todd Miles. Todd?
I don't know what you guys saw on that side, but on this side, Woodruff came out and played like wide receiver, him and another guy, to set up the little blocking scheme on this side. So they could have gone this way with some blocking.
I wonder if he's eligible. Probably not. He's on the line. All right, here we go. High formation. That was pretty good. I didn't notice Woody out there. Hand off to Ian Johnson. There he goes. Inside the 15. He's to the 10. Spins his way to the 5, all the way down to the 2. What a great run. 33-yard run by Ian Johnson, carrying half of Fresno State with him. Holy smokes, he's way over 100 yards now.
Now he's got his highlight reel, and ESPN is ready to rock and roll as Ian Johnson's over 100 and looking good.
ESPN just showed the Johnson for President sign. Boy, he's 1-2 tackles he broke there. Spins his way inside, breaks the 3rd down to the 2. Amazing. Got to give him his touchdown here, huh?
Oh, yeah, he's earned it.
He sure has. Broncos driving for another score to break 40 here on Fresno State. Man in motion. Handoff to I.J. Touchdown, standing up for Ian Johnson. The second touchdown of the night. And the Broncos lead 44-21 with 5:57 left to go in the ballgame.
Ian Johnson gets another touchdown. Boise State scores, and Del Taco gives $100 to the Victory in Christ Recovery nonprofit halfway house for adults with alcohol and drug problems. Del Taco on Broadway, 24 hours every day. Ian now 19 or 20 touchdowns on the year, correct?
Yes.
James Davis of Clemson in 9 games has 17, and Lane from A&M has 17 in 9 games. So he's really doing pretty good in that department on fewer games.
Game ain't over yet. PAT by Anthony Montgomery is good. 5:57 on the clock, 45-21. That was a 5-play, 53-yard drive, the Ian Johnson drive. Used 2 minutes and 30 seconds. IJ scores from 2 yards away. Scoring drive recap brought to you by Access Heating and Air Conditioning, your access to total comfort, locally owned and operated.
I think you got to be comfortable with Ian Johnson now at 24 carries for 136 yards.
Yep.
Putting the game away at a couple of touchdowns. You know, you've accomplished all your missions. Your Heisman thing is launched. You've got the Heisman signs floating around. You've got him in a 100-plus game, 100-plus yard territory with 2 touchdowns. You know, mission's accomplished for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pete's going to say, though, let him off the hook. Zabransky's interception, the penalties early in the game.
Coaches like to have that, don't they?
You know, I guess they do, but at the 9th game of the season, when you hear we got to work on it, you know, it's like, you know what? That may be who you are.
Well, yeah, but as Todd pointed out correctly, you know, a long kickoff return and an interception return. There's a low kick, bounces high, bounces around, finally picked up by Williams at the 15. He's up to the 20 and the 25 and knocked down there, Paul Williams.
And what I mean by that is you're up 45-21 and you could do better, but I mean, my God. Then you would be winning 60-21, and that would be saying like a lot of these teams haven't gotten better, and I just don't think that's the case. So realistically, they're pretty darn good doing it the way they're doing it.
All right, the Broncos with this win here tonight have cinched another appearance on ESPN as the San Jose State game will be at 7:15 Pacific on ESPN2. So yet another game picked up by ESPN.
All right, and so the game kicks off at 7:15
Pacific, 8:15 Boise time.
Was it not a day game at one point?
It was a 1 o'clock game, I believe.
3 o'clock game.
3 o'clock game.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got a little bit extra time to spend at Fisherman's Wharf, maybe, PJ.
Yeah. San Jose. So that's good for Boise State. It's all good.
You know, I think it's good for Boise State on the one hand, but now Fresno's all jacked up to be on national TV and knock off the champion.
Yeah.
And they've got a tremendous group of athletes.
Yep. All right, there's a hand. You're talking San Jose, right?
Yeah,
hand
San
off to
Jose.
right across the 40, 45, knocked down at the 50. Got to win this one first, huh? 45-21. The Broncos back up by 24 with 4:54 left.
Yeah, and, you know, Wright's getting a lot of yards here, and in the kind of garbage time that, you know, they sure wish they could have had these in the second quarter.
Yeah. And Wright will come out of here, you know, looking pretty good. He's got 69 yards now. First down, 10 yards to go. Hand off again to Wright. Boy, nothing there that time. Mike T. Williams looked like a cork on the tide coming in as they just kind of bobbed him out of there. Master Rooter fan of the game. Brought to you by Master Rooter, Masters of the Trade. The most comfortable call you can make at 888-9191. Master Rooter Plumbing. Our Master Rooter fan of the game is Tim Wold. I like him. He's been to every game. Handoff. And right again for about 5 up to down to the 45-yard line. Call out a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And you're right. They're just this kind of throwing in the towel. They can't pass. They have to run the ball. It's the only thing they can do without giving the ball back to Boise State.
Brandstater 6 of 10 with an interception for 65 yards. Norton was 5 of 10 for 49 yards.
3rd down and 4. Brandstater from the shotgun with Miller back there. Lanye Miller. Brandstater, boy, happy feet. Now fires. Ooh. Caught. And it's a 1st down at the 38.
That was a good throw. Nice crossing route, and he found his man.
Yeah, Pinter was open, and it was a nice route because he ran deep enough so he had the 1st down if they got the ball to him. It's kind of a possession pass that time. Clock continues to move, though, with 3:15 left to go. 3 timeouts left for each team, but I don't think they'll be calling a lot of timeouts here.
Difficult place to get a win, Paul J. Once again reaffirmed, you come in here weak, you're going to run out of here just tired.
Broncos have never lost a WAC conference game here. Back to pass. Brandstater way overshoots his intended receiver. Moore tried to shove Skandrick out of the way, but Skandrick with Orlando Skandrick with good position on him. That's a towel.
Yeah, it's actually an airplane, so congratulations to...
Somebody got it to the field.
Somebody took that arbiter, Ian, for Heisman, and made it into an airplane and made it down to the 30-yard line. Congratulations.
Another guy threw one that went right up that 24 alleyway there and is laying in the concrete back underneath the stands. 2nd down and 10. Line of scrimmage, the Bronco 38. Boise State leads 45-21. Back to pass, Brandstater trying to set up the screen. The Broncos have it covered. Now he's got to run. He's going to be hit. He gets pushed out of bounds, short gain at about the, where are they marked it, 36-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and long.
Nick Schleckaway just took away the screen, didn't he?
He did.
He just said, okay, I know what you're going to do here. You're not going to get that ball off to Miller. I'm on him.
Showed great speed. Miller's not a slow guy.
No, and that made Brandstater pull it down and say, uh-oh, now there is no plan B. And he's not exactly a scrambler. Setting up a 3rd and 8 for him is not where they want to be.
Andrew Browning bumped him out of bounds near side. 3rd down and 8. Brandstater calling signal. Straight I formation this time. Play action. Back to pass. Here comes the rush. Dances. Fires to the fullback. He missed it. Yeah. And Colt Brooks gave him a little kiss. He heard Brooks coming, I do believe. Adams, the fullback, went out on the pattern that time. Got both hands on the ball, but didn't look real comfortable, and Brooks just dislodged it.
I just don't think you should take it lightly. They've put 19 guys right now in the NFL from Fresno State. I mean, there is a lot of NFL talent on this field today.
2 number 1 draft picks.
The center and the corner will be in the NFL, and I know that Wright will get a chance. Williams will get a chance. So
they got some players.
It's an impressive win. Impressive game.
4th down and 8 for Boise State. Brandstater back to pass. Broncos coming after him. He fires. Dropped again. Wow, and this time it's West, the guy who made the long kickoff return for a touchdown. The Broncos take over on downs. Well, there was a little panic there. 2 drops in a row. One by the fullback, one by the wide receiver, both of whom heard footsteps. And so total offense, 223 for Fresno State. Not much.
No, and I thought they'd do better offensively than they have tonight. I had a lot more faith in Norton than obviously I should have. I mean, he didn't look too bad against LSU, Paul J. He threw for some yards.
Timeout on the field. The score, 45-21, Boise State on the All-State Broncos Sports Network.
And now take a look at Bronco Vision for today's play of the game, brought to you by Taco Bell. 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Broncos went up for good, 10-7 on this 28-yard touchdown pass from number 5, Jared Zabraski, to number 11, Dryzen James. A 28-yard touchdown pass, and the Broncos took the lead 10-7.
And that's your play of the game, brought to you by Taco Bell. Chicago Connection is proud to be the official pizza of the Broncos. Turn to page 44 in your game program to find out about the Chicago Connection Bronco Victory Special. The bigger the Broncos win, the bigger you win. Enjoy great pizza, pasta, and sandwiches at Chicago Connection, the official pizza of the Broncos.
To 21, Boise State, 2.5 minutes left. You can't spell Heisman without Ian. That's the best sign of the night, huh?
Yeah, I've seen some Johnson for presidents and people creatively using ESPN. You know, you can't use, you got to have Boise State in the BCS. However, they've gotten in their digs. They've done it. I think ESPN had a good run tonight. Probably not the best game for them that they could have hoped for.
They wanted something closer, probably.
1-6 opponent's a tough sell.
Yeah.
That's just a tough sell from the word go. And Boise State didn't disappoint.
All right, the Broncos coming back out on the field. Dobransky, Denton. I think we've probably seen the last of IJ tonight. Although you never know. Z calling signals. 2 or 3 runs and we're out of here. Handed off to Denton. Go, big hole. He's at the 40, the 45, across midfield, and a first down for Boise State. Brett Denton with a nice run. Boy, he landed awkwardly, didn't he? Gets helped up. He's okay.
You know, some of the best news, I think, for fans in the future is you look at Boise State's roster. You got Ian Johnson back. I know you're losing Zabransky and some wideouts, but hey, you got Ian Johnson back for 2 more years probably. Plus, you've got everybody on that offensive line but the center, and you've got the Cavender coming back, and I don't know if Keating's going to get her medical, but that's plenty of guys.
Taylor Tharp now in at quarterback for Boise State, so Z's night is through. Tharp will hand off to Denton. He does, and Denton with another big hole. He's a 40 down to the 35-yard line, another first down.
It's nice that they brought Z out for one play so that he could get some applause going off.
Yep, and he did.
And I think that they recognize that he deserves.
People have stayed around tonight. I mean, this is a runaway. The game's over. Broncos up by 24 with a minute and a half left. Still a lot of people here. Boise State racking up the first downs. That's number 22. They have twice as many as Fresno State. Boise State now 450 yards of total offense. And way over 200 rushing. There's a handoff again to Denton. This time he gets down to the 30-yard line. Brett Denton running the ball well. 32 yards, 4 carries, 8 yards a carry. Clock is moving, 1 minute exactly left to go in the ball game. Not bad for a Wednesday night. It's almost 9 o'clock here in Boise. And don't forget, Brett and Chris will be on later with Bronco Game Night. Tharp calling signals. Hands it off. Denton again, no hole this time, turns and charges down to the 27. That might be it. Crowd not saying BSU anymore. They're saying BCS. BCS. As Boise State advances to 9-0 on the season. Head coaches are coming out. Ian Johnson on ESPN. Chris Peterson on ESPN. And you're on KBOI. As the Boise State Broncos close it out with 5 seconds left to go. The teams are out at center field. Chris Peterson shaking hands right now with Pat Hill. And Pat Hill is really sincere when he says he wishes Boise State would go undefeated. It'll be worth $700,000 to his program as well. So he says, you know, we root for him every game unless we're playing them. And they didn't root for him tonight, but now they can root for him the last three games. All right, the San Jose State game next Saturday has been moved from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 7:15 Pacific at night, or 8:15 Boise time. Will be live on ESPN2. That's what happens when you're 9-0. Broncos win 45-21. That's it for our game broadcast. We'll be back with the post-game show after these words on the Broncos Sports Network.
Nearing 480 total yards of offense for the Broncos tonight. 300 on the ground. Once again, we'll remind you a week from Saturday, the Broncos in action on the road. A whack game against San Jose State on KBOI and on ESPN2 at 8:15 local time. And the Broncos are home again for the final game of the year, November the 18th. 1 o'clock kickoff here at Bronco Stadium against Utah State. Drive carefully as you go home tonight.